Fresh details of the Law Minister's meeting with the CBI Director and top officials last month, where sources say Minister Ashwini Kumar did make changes to the report that the CBI later submitted to the Supreme Court on the coal scam investigation. The story is becoming bigger and more controversial every day. Srinivasan Jain has more details on that. Vasu, the Law Minister clearly now tying himself up in knots from what we understand, and there's been absolutely no response despite repeated attempts by us to contact him on this story.
Yes, that's right. In fact, we've sent him both SMSs, we've also sent him a fax to asking him to clarify the main points of the story. We've also tried to get in touch with the CBI Director without any luck. But essentially, to put before our viewers the significant movement forward in this story since it first broke. And I think essentially, Nidhi, there were two areas which are the most sensitive areas of the story about which there has been some lack of clarity. One was about the involvement of the Law Minister in the status report. Did he look at it? Did he make changes to it? And secondly, whether the additional Solicitor General who said before the court, the CBI, representing the CBI, that he had actually he said that the political executive had not seen this report, but actually it turns out that he has. Let's put the facts before you. We have now learnt from our sources reliably that a meeting did take place on the 5th of March. This is 3 days before the CBI status report was given to the Supreme Court in a sealed envelope. That meeting took place in the Law Minister's office in Shastri Bhavan in the afternoon. Present at that meeting was the Law Minister himself, the Director of the CBI, Ranjit Sinha, a CBI Joint Director called Mr. Girhotra, and also the additional Solicitor General, Harin Rawal, who was also present at that meeting, as was the Attorney General, Ghulam Vanvati. Now, sources are confirming to us that in the course of this meeting, not only was the CBI status report discussed, but that the Law Minister was seen making some changes, writing in that report, suggesting that some modifications were being made. Now, this, as I said, is hugely significant because A, it establishes the fact that the report was not just discussed, changes were made. Two, Harin Rawal, much later on the 12th of March, when this came up for hearing, when the Supreme Court asked him and said, has the political executive interfered in this process? He turns to the CBI and says that has it interfered? The CBI says no, and he turns around and says to the court that there was no interference. But his presence at the meeting confirms that he was not above board with the court, and that in fact he may have given the court a completely different impression. Very quickly, Nidhi, now the government, as you said, is not responding to any direct queries, but off the record, what they've been saying is that yes, there have been a series of consultations with the CBI on this entire matter, but they claim they're not interfering or tampering with the report in any way. And in fact, they claim the agenda of the meeting was entirely different. It was on a minor technicality on whether the report should be sealed or an affidavit, and not in fact on the substance of the report and the fact that the report was being diluted.
Okay, so those are very important facts that you're putting before us. I just go across to Sunetra Chaudhary as well tonight. Sunetra, is it now our understanding that yes, when the CBI does file this affidavit in the Supreme Court, it will say that there was interference, and there was also a curious statement from them after many days today, basically saying that there's no pressure on them of any kind?
Well, one statement actually completely proves and indicates that CBI is going to take a completely different route from the government and is going to be an antagonistic one. It is that they've hired their own lawyer. It's one of those rare things that they do, and it's only in occasions where they take a different line from the government. For instance, let me tell you that now they've hired UU Lalit. They've approached him, and he has confirmed to them. They did approach other lawyers before that who weren't available, but UU Lalit, the 2G lawyer, special prosecutor of CBI, is now going to be the CBI's lawyer in this case as well. The other case in the recent past where CBI had to hire its own lawyer separate from the government lawyer was in the Mayawati case, where the government said governor's not given its sanctions, so you have to close the report, but CBI had taken a completely different line, saying that no, I think that there is a case against Mayawati in the Taj Corridors case. So that is one indication that the government is on. The second thing, of course, has been that CBI hasn't denied at all. Ranjit Sinha, we spoke with him the day the story broke about revelations. Even on that day, they had said very clearly on that day that he didn't at all deny, whereas a denial otherwise is very quick to come. We had a denial on the fact that DIG Ravi Kant posting was totally routine. But on the fact of Ashwini Kumar's vetting, there has been no denial. And in fact, our sources tell us that today's clarification, basically, where they say there is no pressure, it in fact is an indication that what they're going to submit on the 26th to the Supreme Court will be what they want to say and will be something which is unfettered by the government, which is without any fear of the government.